Hello there, my name's Claire and this is Stitch Sew. Thank you so much for joining me today for episode 9 of Friday Sews. Today I'm going to be talking about what I've been up to this week, some organisation that I've been doing and my plans for the next week. So if that interests you, please stick around with me today. Now before I get started, I just want to say, as usual, a massive thank you to everyone that's been watching my previous videos, everyone that's liked and commented and subscribed. I really do appreciate every single one of you, so thank you so much. And if you are a new watcher today, welcome. And if you do like what you see today, please consider subscribing and don't forget to hit that notification bell as well. And if you could give me a like and drop me a comment, that would be fantastic too. So what have I been up to? So this week has been really busy at work for me, so I haven't done a huge amount of sewing this week, unfortunately. Just a combination of being very tired after work. I do most of my sewing in the evening, so with working some longer hours and putting some extra hours in, I've just not had quite the same level of energy in the evenings to do some sewing, but I've still managed to fit some in because it does help my mental health as well. So I have been doing some work on the collaboration project that I'm doing with Adele, who is Sew for Serenity, and that video we're hoping to bring out to you on the 14th of March. I'm yet to film, and I don't think she's yet to film hers either yet, because I don't think either of us have finished our makes, but that's the date we're hoping to bring that video to you, so watch this space for that one. And I finished up a couple of gifts that I was working on last week as well, and I will show those to you in a couple of weeks time when I've been able to gift those. Now if you've watched last week's Friday Sews, you'll know that I was talking about the fact that my son had his World Book Day event at school, like most of the schools in the country, and but his school use rather than dressing up as a character from a book, they dress up as a word. So my son wanted to dress up as the word space, and so I had made him this jumper, which is the hoodie, the Waves and Wild hot chocolate hoodie version. It's got the kangaroo pocket here and the hood on the back. And so it was World Book Day today. I'm filming this on Thursday the 3rd, ready for tomorrow for Friday Sews. And so he wore this lovely jumper and he was really pleased with that. And then he's made, and I just thought I'd show you this because I was talking about last week, this really cute little sort of crown that he wore, and I will pop a picture in of him in it. I have sort of blurred out or put a picture over his face because I don't want to show that online, but yeah, he was so chuffed with his little outfit, and it was so lovely. Because I was working from home today, I was able to do the school run, and it was just like the school was just the children were so excited. There was just a real buzz about the place this morning when I dropped him off at school, and all the kids were just loving the fact that you know, it was a bit of a different day. So that was really very sweet. So I did manage to sew up one of the items I was talking about last week that I wanted to try and sew up. Another version of the hot chocolate, Waves and Wilds hot chocolate pattern for my older son, using this gorgeous fabric here. It's a dinosaur print fabric on a French terry in this beautiful sort of aqua tealy colour. Now this fabric I was really excited to sew up. It came in my secret sewing swap gift that I received from the lovely Char, so I will pop her Instagram handle in there. It was really lovely of her to send that to me, along with some gorgeous pattern weights as well. So I've sewn this up, as I say, another version of the Waves and Wild hot chocolate. My son didn't know I was making this at all until I called him into the bedroom to say, would you like to see what I've been making? And his face was so delighted. It was so sweet. So what I've done is I've just done the black ribbing on the arm bands and on the hem band, and then inside the hood I've just used a fleece fabric, so I thought that'd be nice and sort of warm and cozy. He does like to put his hood up when he's feeling a bit chilly and stuff. So yeah, really chuffed with this one. I just think the fabric just really pops. I think it's just really lovely. So thank you so much to my lovely secret sewing swap lady. So that's all I've really been doing in terms of sewing this week, but I have been doing some organisation of my sewing space. I don't have a dedicated sewing room, but I am lucky enough to have sort of a corner of a room that I can have my machine set up, so I don't have to keep putting them back and forth all the time. So I am really grateful for that. So I've been doing a bit of organisation of that space because I need to keep it quite tidy, because as I say, it's only kind of in a corner of the room rather than being able to close the door on it when you've made it an absolute disaster of an area. So in terms of my fabrics, I'm okay with those because I don't have a massive stash of fabrics. My main sort of dressmaking fabrics take up the equivalent of kind of 1 cube of a calyx unit. Surprising the amount of fabric you can fit in one of those if you fold the fabrics up neatly, but as I say, yeah, not a huge stash. I do have additional fabrics in other boxes which contain kind of scraps of fabrics and some other fabrics that I use for sort of crafty type projects and things. But in terms of dressmaking fabrics, I don't have a huge massive stash like other people do, because I just don't really have the room to house that amount of fabric. I probably would have more if I had the space. So I'm not too worried about storage of my fabrics, but it's more storage of my patterns. So I use, I put my patterns, once I've printed them out, into sort of these plastic wallets with the poppers, and they're in sort of various colours depending on kind of what I picked up from the shop, which are fine. That works okay for me at present. So I tend to be a PDF pattern person. I'm not massively into tracing out patterns. I'd rather stick it together than trace out. I know, controversial, other people feel quite differently about that side of things, but for me it's PDF patterns all the way. So they're all stored in these sort of folders, and then I've got them all popped in sort of these folders. I've got about 4 of these, so they're getting more and more. Obviously the more patterns I get, the more space they take up. Now, I recently had a pattern printed from Fabuloso, and I was quite shocked by how much less space the tracing paper sort of weight, much thinner weight that they print on, the paper type that they print on takes up. So that got me thinking in terms of sort of moving forward. I think if I do go for getting any patterns printed, I'm likely to use those because it limits the amount of storage space that they require. In terms of how I keep my PDF patterns sort of digitally, I currently have them on my laptop, so stored under sewing patterns and then stored under designer or pattern company if you like, and then a folder for each pattern, which is fine currently because whilst I have accumulated quite a lot of patterns, it's not ridiculously out of hand. However, I am getting to the point where I will forget what patterns I own, particularly if I've bought a few at once. You know, if it were on sale and you think, oh, I'll just pick up a few because that would be good, without necessarily thinking I'm going to be making that pattern sort of straight away, I'm more likely to forget. So lots of people have talked about Trello. It's not something I've looked into. Do you think it's any good? I think it might be a nice way to be able to kind of look through at patterns easily. So say like you think, oh, I want to make a dress, then you can look through at the patterns that you already own to see whether actually, if you're thinking about buying another pattern, whether you've got one that's really similar or not. Anyway, let me know what you think about Trello or any other pattern organisation that you do. Give me some tips and hints. I'd be really, really grateful if you could pop them in the comments below, or drop me a DM on Instagram. I'm at stitchhemsew on Instagram too. That would be absolutely fantastic. The other thing that I've been doing is trying to get a bit more organised in writing down my makes that I've been doing each month, and planning kind of in advance makes and some of the videos that I'm doing. Obviously got the collaboration project coming up with Adele and Frugal Frocks. It's not called Frugal Frocks this year, is it? It's called Sew Frugal 22 that I'm doing a video for towards the end of March. And so I felt like I needed to get a little bit more organised in planning when I'm likely to be filming, when I need to be making things for, etc, etc. So I picked myself up just a common diary, nothing special. Picked this up from Paper Chase, which is a stationery card type shop in the UK, and so that I could write down when I was going to be filming things and when I need to make things for, just because I was starting to get a bit twitchy that I wasn't going to get things done in time. So that's one bit of organisation that I've been doing. And as I say, the other thing that I'm also doing is trying to write down the things that I've made each month, things that I would like to make, just so that I get a little bit more organised. And I've been writing that down in this one. Not anything fancy, not a bullet journal, nothing like that, but just something to keep a track of those makes. So how do you keep a track of your makes? What do you do? Do you use an Excel spreadsheet? Are you a notebook type person? Yeah, what do you do? I really interests me. I love all that sort of stuff. I mean, people that do bullet journaling, I think it looks beautiful, but I just know that I just wouldn't ever keep it up. I love a list, but I just don't think, whilst I quite like paper crafting and things like that, I've done lots of that in the past, I don't know, I don't think I would keep up with a bullet journal. I'd start it, it would look beautiful, well, hopefully it would look beautiful, but I don't think I'd keep up. I just think an old-fashioned notebook works quite well for me. Oh, this notebook, I just covered it with some Planet fabric some time ago, because this particular notebook had got sort of really dog-eared in a drawer, so but it hadn't been used, so I wanted to use it, so I just covered it in some spare fabric that I had. So in terms of plans for next week, I think I would like to, well, I need to finish off sewing up the project that I'm doing for my collaboration project with Adele. I would like to make a start on my Sew Yellow for Endo make. I've got this lovely fabric, I showed this last week. It's a viscose fabric that I bought from So Much More, who are based in Devon, and I bought this with the idea of making a top of some sort. I'm yet to choose the pattern. Hopefully I've got enough fabric. I bought a 1.5 meters. Hopefully that's enough for whatever I decide to make. So I really would like to get started on that. I think I said that last week, so apologies, didn't quite make it. But yeah, hopefully make a start on at least cutting that, deciding on the project, cutting it out. That would be a step in the right direction, I think. And I have I also showed you this fabric last week. I didn't get round to sewing this one up. This is just a jersey fabric, a dinosaur fabric that I picked up again from So Much More, and I want to sew up something for my youngest son with this one, just because, you know, I like to be fair. I've done a couple of makes for my older son, and so it's time to make something for my younger one. And yeah, just a long sleeve t-shirt or something along those lines for my my youngest. I think that would be really cute. I also, there is something on my to-do list which I keep putting off. I don't think I'm going to get it sewed up, but it very much is in the back of my mind that I said to my husband ages ago that I would carry on making kind of dust covers for his various different games consoles that he has. Now, I started doing this probably over a year ago, probably before I got heavily into making clothes for myself, and I was making the dust covers for the various ones, and I probably made about 5 of different sizes and scales depending on the console itself. But I do need to make, he keeps hassling me to make some more for the others, and but I just find them a little bit tedious now that I'm making other things that I want to make, so I keep putting it off. So I must get round to doing that. I don't think it's going to happen this week, but maybe if I tell you guys about it, it will make me accountable for actually doing it in the next sort of few weeks. I think maybe I will plan to do them in April, when all of the kind of challenges that I'm taking part in have passed, and then hopefully I won't have an excuse not to do it, but by then I probably would have found something else that I want to make instead. But no, I really must try and at least make one so that I can say I'll do like one a month or something. Maybe that's what I should do, one a month, so that I can get these things out of the way and please make my husband happy and stop him moaning at me. So folks, that's all from me today. I'm sorry it's been a little bit of a shorter one today. Hopefully next week there'll be a little bit more sewing and so some more things to show you. But until next week, just to say thank you so much for watching. Take care. Happy sewing. Bye bye.